Am I the a-hole for not telling my long-term GF I am infertile? I made a shadow account because she has my main. I, 28M, have been dating Emma, 26F, for almost 2 years. I made it a habit of talking out difficult topics on first dates. Examples are kids, religion, marriage, financial goals, career choices, politics. I figured that if we had anything too different, we could part as friends or acquaintances. We lined up with almost everything. She didn't want kids, I couldn't have them. We were both non-religious but respectful of those who were. Politics were a little messy, but honestly nothing too crazy. The only real difference was she intended on marriage, and I think it's a hollow constitution. I thought QE could revisit the topic at a later time, and she agreed. My parents were not the shining show of a perfect married couple, and I honestly thought that was a big issue that I had to work on. Maybe given time, my thoughts on it would change. We met the parents after a year, and she understood why I was hesitant on marriage considering what I grew up with and what she could see just by a visit. We agreed I would start therapy, and she did her own to both help support me in my journey and not lose herself to being my support. Another 6 months passed, and we moved in together. That was a big step for me, because I never had a live-in partner before, because it had always felt too domestic and marriage-like. But the smile and hug she gave me was enough to soothe a lot of the anxiety I had out asking her. Hardly anything changed in our relationship from there. We just saw each other every day. Fast forward to now, and I have half-assed been looking at rings. My best friend has been a huge help with his knowledge, and I have been keeping it under wraps because I don't want to get her hopes up for me to chicken out. And few friends have been engaged in the last few years, and a few times I heard the kind of proposal she would want, not public, evening with setting sun, and just something cute. We live near a beach, so I thought a beach thing with some flowers would be nice. But this brings us to the issue. I came home a few days ago to a big to-do. A full swing party and grilling and everything. Family and friends were there, and I was taken off guard. Did I forget a birthday, anniversary, or event we planned? Well shit, I am screwed. But Emma told me she just threw something together just because, and I relaxed. I got a beer, mingled. Emma was glued to Kuh for quite a bit of it. I thought she was worried I was mad, so I made sure to let her know how fun this was. I usually don't like surprises, but this was nice. Then as everyone gathered to eat, she stood and gave a speech about family and friends and how we have all come a long way, and I was excited to tell us all that we would have a new addition in a few months while holding her stomach and beaming. It was immediate noise of cheers, congratulations, shrieks of joy from her mother, and so much. I stared at her for the longest time and kept asking, "Are you sure?" Like a broken record. I was beyond stunned because I could not have children naturally. I hadn't told her because she never wanted kids, and we were always careful just in case. My dad, knowing my medical condition, stood up and stormed out, quickly followed by my very confused mom. He had been the only one I had confided in about the diagnosis. To be clear, I get tested often. I was supposed to donate material for a lesbian couple I am friends with, but was told I shot a bank of blanks. I did testing and stuff immediately after. I hadn't expected to be so shaken by it. I had been tested about 3 months ago and still have blanks. Numb. I hugged her and smiled through what felt like torture for the next several hours. I waited till the next day to talk to her about it, as she had been visibly exhausted from the party. I sat her down and just handed the medical report from 3 months ago to her and explained everything. She got upset at me for keeping this from her and was even angrier when I said I needed a paternity test, either now or when the baby was born. Foolishly, still holding out hope. She threw the papers at me, yelling and cursing for being a sneaky bastard and implying she's a whore. She tried to kick me out, but I told her I owned the house and she wasn't on the deed, so if anyone would leave, it would be her. She cried, called his sister, and left. I had to explain about a dozen times to everyone the full extent of everything, even sending the medical papers to group chats. Some think it was wrong to keep it from her for so long, some think it's smart to get a DNA test, some want to smear her on social media. She keeps calling, and it alternates between screaming at me for being cruel and taking her joy away in this moment, and crying about how I abandoned her and our miracle child. I don't know what to do. Am I the a-hole?